arcade gamers, and welcome back to Biggie D's Arcade. Tonight we're going to be doing my 78th Chillin' Chat live on a Sunday evening, talking home arcade with you guys in the audience in the chat tonight. So let's say hi to everybody who's made it so far. It looks like the first person in the chat was Israel Gaming. He's saying, yo, Biggie D, what's up, my dude? And Mickey Yoon, I see ya, fam. Hope all is good this evening. Almost time to get the party started. Yes, it is time to get the party started. Good to see you, Israel Gaming. Mickey Yoon's here. He's saying, what's up, Israel? Carl O is talking about the membership. So I'll go ahead and clear the air on that and just make sure everyone understands what's going on. So last Monday, so almost a week ago, right after the last stream, I got notice from YouTube that they wanted me to prove that my content is my own, that I made it. And of course I've made all my content. I don't just re-upload stuff. Like I do all kinds of entertainment value, commentary, all kinds of things that add to these videos, shorts, everything I use on my channel. However, I didn't follow the exact criteria of what I needed to do to submit that to them, to prove that to them. I actually missed a couple of steps because I was like rushing, not really taking it seriously. So I'm really, it's my own fault. It's not like I did anything wrong. I just didn't submit what they needed me to submit correctly. So right now I'm on like a 90-day like suspension from monetization. Starting on December 8th, I can reapply. And then as far as memberships, you're asking about the memberships, those are still intact. Those are on pause is what they call it. The memberships are on pause until I can get remonetized in December. Now, if for whatever reason they don't approve me on that reapply, then that would then cancel the memberships like 30 days after that. So they are still around. They're still going to come back whenever my monetization comes back. So just hang in there for the next couple of months. Those months should fly by and we'll be right back on track with the memberships. And if you guys have been like members over a year, that should still all stay and still be intact whenever monetization comes back. So this is pretty common for channels, especially larger channels that are gaining a lot of attention and are getting lots of views. And like I had one short that's got almost 20,000 views and it has almost 1,000 likes. So I think that gained a lot of attention for the channel. Probably got more eyes on, this channel than have been in the past. So they were just wanting me to submit some stuff and I didn't submit it correctly. So that's all it is. And when I reapply, I won't have to go through that process again. They'll just have someone look at my channel and approve it. So that's just a couple of months, 2 or 3 months we'll go without some revenue, but that's not an issue. When I started my channel, there was no revenue for the entire first year. And I enjoyed it. This is a hobby. This is something I enjoy doing. I don't really do it for the money. So that should make no difference in what you guys are seeing other than there's no ads. So it actually ends up benefiting you a lot in that you don't have to watch any ads now when you watch Biggie D's Arcade, at least till December 8th. Jason saying, yep, really, thank you for asking. I'm doing really well, man. Just icing his arm a bit. I guess he hurt it. Too much basketball when he hadn't played in over 4 months. That's how I would be. If I haven't played sports in a long time and I go out and play, I'm normally pretty sore or hurting after that. So I feel you. Carlo saying pizza and basketball is a deadly combo, Jason. And let's say hi to everyone else who has made it here. We got Pixelated Traveler. He was talking about his AtGames Legends. He has an HD, which it seems like he's completely modded it and even added a 4K screen that does 144 hertz. So that's awesome. You've got a 4K setup basically without having to purchase the new one. And Thumper Squid's here. He's saying, hello, gamers. Good to see you, Thumper, in the chat. Science Spirits is here as well. JJ, good to see you. Thor KC as well. We've also got PD7 in the chat. Good to see you, Phil, saying, hey, guys. And let's see, anyone else? Brent Metz as well. Thanks for the great content, Biggie. Absolutely. Let's get it started. We got a lot to talk about tonight. Just a bunch of fun subjects and discussion on tap. So we'll start, and I didn't actually include this on the thumbnail, because we've got other things to discuss, but I did want to start with New Wave Toys. And the main reason I want to start with them is they were on Glenn's Retro Show on Friday. So we got a lot of new information from Shiloh, who was the guest. He shared with us, and I want to start with that because I think that's probably the most important, information we've got this week, because this is coming straight from the owner, CEO of the company. So let's take a look. If you guys want to go back and re-watch this live stream interview, special guest with Shiloh, it was last Friday on the 13th on Glenn's Retro Show. And they were about an hour and a half talking, almost 2 hours, talking about the new products that are coming. Also, what's going on behind the scenes as far as future products, things like that. Also changes to current ones that we've already put in pre-orders for. So let's kind of go over that stuff. And I want to start with just the various things that I kind of took note of and noticed during the live stream, where they really hit on the Crystal Castles, because that's pre-order right now. I think we still have, and we can take a look at it right now. I think we got about a week left on this. 7 days, 21 hours. So if you guys are still trying to get your pre-order in for the Crystal Castles, whether that be the Replicade, the Field Test Edition, or the bundle, or you can get both, the bundle, the Collector's Edition, as well as the Replicade in a bundle deal as well. These are all four available right now for the next 7 days, 21 hours, 52 minutes, 30 seconds. And what's good about the pre-sale is they do have a promo code right now. Maybe Jason or one of the mods can put that promo code in the chat, but it saves you 20%. You want to go in and buy one now, pre-order it, just to ensure and guarantee that you're going to get your hands on one. Because I like to wait till these go on sale, and I pay not only more money, but I'm also taking a risk of it selling out before I can buy one. We don't know how many people are going to want to get their hands on one of these when they do go on sale. And if there's a limited amount available, you could be risking it if you're not ready to go right when they go on sale. So a couple of reasons why I would pre-order is not only to save the money, but to guarantee that you get the one that you want in the package or the bundle that you want. So some other things that they were discussing in this live stream on Glenn's Retro Show was also the charging machine. So this has been long awaited. There's been a long period of time now that this has been in pre-order. So I think people are getting a little bit antsy, kind of like they were with the Zoltar for this to come out, is the charging stations. So you got the cigarette machine. You've also got the Artomat, which is similar, but it doesn't have a cigarette theme to it. As well as we learned during the stream, they're going to bring back the change machine. So if you guys were big fans of that change machine charger, you just don't like the whole cigarette machine idea, they did say that they are bringing that charging machine back. So that's really good news as well, because I thought that was a popular one. And New Wave Toys doesn't bring a lot of stuff back and remake this stuff. So to get something like that was popular coming back again is awesome. Also, this black hole, we haven't heard much about the black hole pinball, but this is actually going to be releasing. It sounds like we're getting closer to that release from what we're hearing. And we've got some really big news coming on it around Pinball Expo. I don't know if New Wave Toys will actually be at Pinball Expo. They very well could be. I don't know for a fact that they are, but they are going to be making an announcement on the black hole mini pin around Pinball Expo or during Pinball Expo. And he said this is like kind of mind-blowing what they're going to be announcing. So I'm really looking forward to whatever this is going to be. They definitely put a lot of emphasis on this, and they want to get people ready because there's going to be some big announcement on the black hole pinball coming up in October. And then we also heard them discuss a lot about the Golden Tee, because even though we've got the Crystal Castles, which is going to have this trackball and the standalone game deck, the Golden Tee was pre-ordered before it, so it'll actually arrive and come out sooner than the Crystal Castles. So we're back talking about Golden Tee because I think we're getting even closer to it releasing now also. So let's take a look first at the Replicate mini pin. This is the black hole mini pin that they're going to be releasing. We still don't have a date on when this will be released, but there is going to be some big announcement around Pinball Expo. And he did say this is going to be like mind-blowing, huge deal, something that everyone's going to be extremely excited about. So I'm just wondering, what is that going to be? I mean, I just don't think it's going to be playable. I just don't think that's even a possibility from what I've learned. So I don't think that's the announcement. But maybe they have other pinballs that they're going to be announcing around Pinball Expo that are going to be just like the black hole, but other pinball tables. So maybe other Gottlieb tables, or maybe others that they haven't worked on before, like Stern, could be possible. So we'll see what that is. It's an unknown. We just got the hint that that's coming. We know that that'll be happening around Pinball Expo. But other than that, we don't really know. We can speculate, though, on what that would be. And I think it's going to be new pinballs, new mini pins in this size. So we'll see what it is, but very exciting if you're a big pinball fan and you want something in a 1/6 scale size like this. Now, the other announcement was this Golden Tee, and they were focused on the trackball because this was on Glenn's show, and we know that Glenn is actually making the standalone game deck trackball stick. And this is their first one ever that they're going to do, which has these large controls, which are more in line with like a real arcade machine and what you experience playing a real Golden Tee. And then this also kind of directly competes with Arcade1up because it's giving us the size, the controls that we're used to when playing the Arcade1up Golden Tee. We just don't have the cabinet. We just have the game deck. Couple other things about this that they had made known during the stream, and I think we already knew this, but they did confirm that the Golden Tee game deck will work with Crystal Castles. If you get the Crystal Castles game deck, it will work with Golden Tee. So it is nice, gives you that ability to, just buy one game deck and hopefully use it with all the trackball games that come out in the future from New Wave Toys. But I think the big news was, taking a look at Glenn's trackball stick, that's what they're calling it, is that there were those screw holes around the trackball. And I was concerned about that. Actually, I think I was the only one that discussed or made note or, talked about on stream about these screw hole covers and these screw holes. And I just thought, when you're hitting the trackball, that would just kind of be uncomfortable, kind of be a nuisance, kind of be in the way, because you're definitely going to feel that as you're rubbing your hand over the game deck. And there were 4 of them, one above it, one below, one on the left, one on the right. And I'd said all that, and then I'd gone and looked at the original Golden Tee, and I'd noticed they actually have those screws, and they actually have those screw holes. So it was actually accurate to the original Golden Tee, but I was just a little bit concerned about the placement of those being so close to the trackball, and it just being a little bit uncomfortable and giving you, just not as great of an experience as if they weren't there. But we got some really good news during the stream on this, and I actually brought it up in the chat. I said, you removed the screw holes. And Shiloh instantly wanted to bring that chat up. He's like, yeah, we take notice to the community and what they ask for, what they're seeing, because sometimes we, the community, see things that they don't see initially. So they really like that feedback, and they listen. And that was proven, especially in this, because I didn't have any discussions with New Wave Toys about this. I just mentioned it on the stream. Maybe others have as well. It might have not just been me, but they were obviously listening. And this is the final. It may actually not be the final. They said they could still make improvements beyond what we're seeing in this image. But there are no screw holes anymore, and there are no, screw covers or any of that. They're just gone completely. So it looks like a totally different game deck now. I mean, look at this. They were all over the game deck before. And I wasn't so worried about the ones on the outside, even though that is a little bit of an eyesore. I was more so worried about the ones around the trackball. Because even on the original Golden Tee, the placement of those were farther out, where these were like right next to the trackball. So I was a little bit worried about that placement. But they've listened and they've taken notice to that, and they've changed it and improved it quite a bit, removing all the screw holes. They also said that there is this art that's going to be placed over the top of it, and that is like a rub-free, rub-resistant art, which will not come off. So they must be using something similar to like what Arcade1up has been doing on their newer game decks, where it's got this rub-resistant artwork. So tonight, guys, I'm going to be drinking a beer. It is going to be called Throne Brewery, West Valley Amber Ale. And if you look at it, it's got Peoria, Sun City, Glendale, El Mirage, Surprise. This is the West Valley where I live in Phoenix, and it's a local brewery here. And I found this brewery yesterday on Pinball Map. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Pinball Map, but they'll show you where all the pinball tables are around the whole city. You just put in your zip code and it'll tell you. And evidently this brewery is not an arcade. They're just like they do food and beer, but they had 5 pinball machines there. One of them was that new Godzilla 70th, I think 70th or 40th. I can't remember. But it's the one with the black and white artwork, the new one that Retro Ralph is all really, doing a lot of content on right now. And I was like, I got to get out there and check that new Godzilla out, because I love the Godzilla pinball table. But I wasn't a real big fan of that black and white art. And I did go play it, and I confirmed exactly what I thought. I'm not a fan of that black and white art on the anniversary edition. I would much prefer having the colors on there. But again, it is the same Godzilla pinball, and it's an amazing pinball table. It's a ton of fun to play. Went with a buddy of mine, and he got multi-ball going really early, was able to lock all 3 balls onto the building and bring them down. And that's such a cool experience when they drop and they come right down the middle towards you. But yeah, I had a really good time there. Played the Godzilla, the new one. They also had some other kind of, I guess, rare older pinball tables. One of them was World Soccer Championship by Gottlieb. I think it was what it was called. Let's see what that one's called. Gottlieb Soccer Pinball. Let's see. Can't remember what this one's called. But let's see. I don't know. But they had the Gottlieb Soccer. They had the Stern, which was an older Stern NASCAR table, which was really cool because it has the ball and it goes all the way around, and it'll do like 3 motions through this, like it looks like almost like a car track around the pinball table before you actually start playing. So I really enjoyed the NASCAR Stern. And then they had the Stargate, which I think is a Gottlieb table as well. And then they had, it was one of the bands, Stern band tables. Which one was that? Led Zeppelin Stern. So they had 5 total. Not a huge selection of pinball tables, but I thought it was a good selection of pinball tables. A couple Sterns that were a little bit older. You know, the Led Zeppelin does have the digital DMD, like the screen, actual screen instead of the DMD. And then like the NASCAR Stern had the DMD, and then so it was much older. And then the Gottlieb tables, the Stargate was like a newer Gottlieb. I guess you could consider it a newer Gottlieb. And then the Soccer was like an older Gottlieb table. It was only 50 cents. And then we had the Godzilla, the anniversary edition. And it's going to drive me crazy, so I got to look that up. What year was that anniversary edition? 70th. Okay, I was right initially on that. 70th edition. But just not a fan of that black and white artwork at all. Also, I was a little disappointed they didn't have the Insider Connected set up for me to like track my scores and all that. I always find that strange where they have these like brand new, super expensive Stern pinball tables like just came out, but they don't have them connected to the internet where you can do the Stern Insider. So, but other than that, great. Had a lot of fun. Also got some food and beer, and that's what I'm drinking tonight. If you're ever in the area, Throne Brewery, go check them out. They got the 5 pinball tables there. Nice little, and there hardly anybody playing them, so you can play them as much as you want. But back on track here, guys. So we got the screws have been removed. Looks much better. Now, Rexer Show was in the chat, and he was mentioning that the screws, not the screws, I'm sorry, he was mentioning the buttons. Maybe there weren't enough buttons for the Golden Tee 3D, but he was also kind of backtracking and second guessing himself on that, saying, well, maybe there are enough buttons for Golden Tee 3D. But Shiloh right out said it. He goes, if there's not enough buttons for that game, we'll go in and we'll fix that. Sounds like this is still prototype, so they can still make improvements. So definitely, guys, make your voice known. Let them know if you see something you don't like, because they're obviously listening right now. They're making any changes that they can because they want this to be perfect. If you know anything about New Wave Toys, they are perfectionists. They do not cut a corner at all, and they're always trying to find ways to improve these and make them look and play better. So guaranteed this thing is going to come out. It's going to be amazing when it does hit market, and we'll see when that is. Where I think we're getting closer, though, very close, because they put a lot of emphasis on it during the stream with Glenn, and I think that means that we're getting much closer to its release. We could see Mickey Yoon was in the chat during the stream. He said, that's a great trackball. 720 Eric said, is that T-molding? And Moon Patrol. There was a lot of Moon Patrol discussion during this, because if you guys remember, we're getting 2 80s cabs by the end of this year, or at least announcements. And we found out one of those was Crystal Castles. Could it be that other 80s cab that we're going to at least get an announcement on by the end of this year is Moon Patrol? Because there was just such a, there was a space thing going on. Like the whole first part of the stream was all about space. There was a lot of moon. So people were just spitting out moon arcade games. And wouldn't it be great to get a Moon Patrol? That's a fantastic cab. It's got amazing artwork on it. I'd like to see that one. So we'll see what it is. That's just speculation and hopeful wishing, I think, on that. But we'll see what our next announcement is. Also, Glenn, he really pushed Shiloh on what are we getting next? Can you give us any information? And he was not budging at all, not giving us any new information on what could be coming. So we'll see what that is when we get more information. But we do know from previous streams, whether that be Shiloh on my stream or P-Dubs or Glenn's show, we do know we're getting one more announcement by the end of the year, and it is going to be an 80s cab. And I think they've learned, too, from Golden Tee, being a little bit newer cab, that it doesn't sell as well in our community as the 80s cabs. For some reason, this 1/6 scale, we're trying to replicate these 1/6 scale arcades. The 80s are the ones that sell the best. So I think they've learned that that's the ones that they're going to focus on from what I've taken from this stream. Also, guys, on the Zoltar. So Zoltar, I've had it now for a little bit, probably 5 weeks maybe now. And this was an initial photo I took of it right when I got it out of the box. And you guys will notice that there's no chain around the neck, no necklace. And that was because it had fallen back behind his head, back behind his back. And I was thinking, you know what, I'm going to do a review. And I thought about maybe I'll just do the review the way it is and just not fix it and just live with it. Or I'll open it up, but I'm going to take a risk of maybe breaking something if I do that, because they weren't too high on us opening these. So I was like, maybe I'll do the review where I open it and I'll film all that from start to finish. But then I just got a little bit frustrated with the whole thing and just not liking that he didn't have the necklace over him. So I just decided, you know what, I'm just going to fix it myself on my own without filming it, without doing it as part of the review. That way we can just start fresh on the review, make it look perfect before we even start. And I filmed this. I did a short on it. Didn't actually film me doing it, but I did explain how I did it. And what I did is I just started removing the screws from the top portion of the back. And they're all different sizes. They used like 3 or 4 different size screws on the back. So I had about 3 or 4 different screwdrivers, and I got to about halfway down. I was going to remove all of them, but then there's some really deep holes on the back. And your screwdriver, unless you have the correct one, it will, and I'm pointing at it right there. You don't have the right screwdriver, it will not fit. So what I did is I just started pulling it from the top, but very careful not to break it. And it did give me just enough room to get some really small screwdrivers in there. Those ones right there you're seeing. And I was able to guide that chain over its head in front of its face, so it was hanging down like you're seeing now. And then I just propped it up, and now it's perfect again. And I think you have to be very careful when doing this. If you're going to use this method, be extremely careful not to break anything, especially when you're pulling on that top portion of the glass. Just be extremely careful. That's all I can say. But it will work, and you'll be able to get that over. Because I was trying to hang it upside down, and I did that for about an hour, actually, just hanging it upside down, trying to get it to just cross over the top of his hat there. And I couldn't get it over. It just would not budge. It was just, I don't know how it got behind him, because it would not come in front of him at all by me just dangling it. I had to actually open it and push it over his head. So I'm not sure how it actually happened that way. Maybe it came from the factory that way. I'm not sure. But once I got it a little bit open and I could access it, it was super easy to fix. And now it looks perfect. There is a little glue piece on the chest, which is not attached. So I do have to be very careful when moving it, not to flip it upside down and let that happen again. But it's ready to go for review now. And you guys should be seeing a review on Zoltar here very soon. Going to definitely be starting that process this week. Hopefully have it done by next weekend. But just taking a look at, the New Wave Toys website, I don't think the Zoltar is available anymore. I think it is sold out. Yeah, it is out of stock. But it is saying that there are more on the way. So if you guys are interested in getting one of these, you definitely, it looks like you're going to be able to get your hands on one. It says currently out of stock, but more coming soon. Definitely join and sign up for the newsletter. That way you know exactly when those are coming. And let's just bring up a few chats here. And since we've been talking New Wave Toys, I know there's a ton of New Wave Toys fans that watch this channel and that are in the chat. Won't be able to bring up everyone's, but I do want to bring up some. Video Game Vegas says, I ordered the New Wave. Oh, Video Game Vegas also, they did a huge giveaway during this stream. Gave away about 5 prizes. And Video Game Vegas was one of the winners. So congratulations on that. He said he ordered the New Wave Toys Golden Tee with Glint's deck, and he can't wait to get it. So glad to hear it will work with the New Wave Toys Crystal Castles as I picked that up, just the Replicate. Very cool. And Mickey Yunsan looks much better without the bullet holes. But according to Rexer, they are missing a button for Golden Tee 3D. We'll see how that pans out if they actually do need to add another button. But Shiloh did seem open to doing that if it is needed or required. Thor is saying he missed the pre-order on the Golden Tee, and he's regretting it because I'm probably going to end up having to pay more. And that is the thing with these, if you don't do the pre-order, you're definitely going to pay a lot more. So you got to balance that out. What's more important to you, saving the money or, just getting it when it comes out? Because I'm not a person that likes to wait. I think that's the biggest, hurdle or thing I have to overcome with pre-ordering is I don't like waiting that long. But saving the money is huge when it actually does release. Mickey Yoon is saying Coke Oreos were good. You'll like them. Talking about that new drink. And Thumper Squid says, I still need a Zoltar. I'll order one next round. It looks like that's coming up soon. They're going to probably ship a bunch of these because there's places all over the country, all over the world that are buying these. Not just arcade fans, just people that like, Zoltar. Because he mentioned during the stream, there's over 3,000 actual real Zoltar machines throughout the country. So there's tons of people that like this and want one, even if they're not an arcade fan. Because you know, half the time you see a Zoltar, it's not in an arcade. It's in front of a business or inside like a antique like store or something like that. Doesn't even necessarily have to be an arcade. And that's what's pushed the sales and really helped New Wave Toys with getting these out, is that there's a lot of people buying them up that are not their typical customer. And Mickey Yoon saying if they make $80 again, he'll pick one up. I don't think they'll be doing that again. The $80 was during the pre-order phase, and don't think we'll see that again, but it really does hit home, really shows you just how much you can save by pre-ordering, because they are now $150, where if you had pre-ordered it would have been almost half that price, and you would have gotten yours first. So good thing to do is to pre-order when you can if you really want it. Alfred's here as well. He's saying, hey guys, good to see you, Alfred. All right, so let's move on. We're going to move on now to some AtGames talk. Now, AtGames has had a big week, and we knew this after last week because we had discussed, you know, that the Addams Family was going to be getting its update, so the flipper lag was going to be gone. And then also we were getting this new skin or some new announcement for the AtGames 4K coming up the following week, which is this upcoming week. So let's discuss all this stuff. Now, we had looked at this graphic last week, and we were focused on that wave 1, which was the September 12th, the Addams Family. And that's what we're going to see results on tonight, is the Addams Family. But starting next week on the 19th, we're going to get the Snoopy, which they're calling the Wave 2 fix. That's going to be Snoopy, Star Trek, The Next Generation, and the Attack from Mars. So they're doing 3 in one update this time, which is great. And then also Wave 3, which will be the following week, we'll talk about that next Sunday, is going to be Twilight Zone, World Cup Soccer, and don't get that confused with the Gottlieb Soccer I was talking about earlier. This is the this is going to be the Bally, Midway Bally World Cup Soccer. And then the DreamWorks Pinball, that'll all be on 9/26. Also, last Thursday, we got the Universal Classics Pinball Pack, which released as well. Everyone's really happy, I think, with the new Universal. It doesn't have the lag that these previous tables have had. And the Back to the Future is like the one that everyone loves, because that's like the table that's most playable. It's easy to play. I mean, you can play for 30 minutes, an hour, and not drain too many balls and have a really good time with it. Jaws, I've been hearing a lot of people down on Jaws because, you know, the Stern Jaws has come out now, and it's hard to compare the two. And then the E.T. I've enjoyed E.T. I've played it on Pinball FX. It's all right. But I kind of agree with most of what I've been hearing is the Back to the Future is the banger in there. The Jaws and the E.T. are kind of like throw-in tables with that pack. But very good release for AtGames. So let's take a look here, though, at the lag, because I think that's what's most important. I think that's what's holding a lot of potential buyers back is the lag, and just seeing what was going to happen with that before they spend their hard-earned money. And I've got a vote right now, a poll going, so definitely vote in this new poll I've got. But it's now that AtGames has improved the flipper lag, are you going to buy a 4K pinball machine? Right now we have 32 votes. 22% are saying, yes, I'm ready to buy one now. So they've seen enough after this update to go ahead and buy one. 9% are saying that they are yes, like they would have bought one at this point, but they already own one. And then that's 9%. 34%, and we're tied right now at 34% for these next two options, which these are the two leaders. No, waiting for more improvement, which waiting for more improvement wasn't very specific on that. That can mean a couple of things. That could mean they want to see more improvement on the flipper lag. That could mean they want to see more tables get that flipper lag fix. Or that could mean improvement in like skins. They want to get a better skin. So that could be open to a lot of votes there. And then the last is 33%. No, not interested at all. Not interested, not going to get one of these, 33%. So that's interesting to see that. You know, we've got 34 votes right now. 32% are saying they're not interested. So almost 1/3 of our audience is not interested no matter what AtGames does. So still a lot of people in the home arcade community, home arcade collectors that just maybe don't like pinball or just not a big fan of it, or they're just not willing to spend, large amounts of money for these virtual pinball tables. The Arcade1up pinball tables, they came in at 600. A lot of people got them for 500, 400. That's a third, a fourth of what one of these costs. So that could be holding a lot of people back too. Or maybe just saying from the very get-go, they're not going to get one because they're too expensive. So it's just a thought on that is, will AtGames ever make a more reasonably priced 4K pinball? I know that they brought out like that factory direct, which didn't include the topper. It didn't include like the OTG, and it had like these features you had to open up with paywall. And that was how they were able to get that cost down. But was it enough? I just don't think that that was enough. They still need to make a entry level, I think, 4K pinball table that's in the price range of like their original, which was the HD, at like $7.99. And they can get it into Sam's or they can get it into Costco. I think that's key to getting like that 28% no, not interested. I think a large portion of those not interested are just, it's out of their price range, or they're just not willing to pay that much money because they're not that big of a pinball fan or a pinball enthusiast. So just like Arcade1up, they had that price range of up to like 800. If you say the KI Pro was 1,000, up to 1,000. I think AtGames still needs to work on their pricing. I think it's still a little too high. But let's take a look here at our results. So this came from Wagner's Tech Talk. If you guys want to go check out his video. I know Jason's in the chat. He's one of our moderators, as well as Carlo. Maybe one of you guys can put the link in for Wagner's Tech Talk video that we're referring to right now. But this showed us the results of the flipper lag improvement after the update. And we can see that Star Trek, DreamWorks, Twilight Zone, World Cup Soccer on this image, those we haven't not got results for yet, but we will be later this month. But we do have results on the Addams Family, and the Addams Family was one of the, I would say, worst performing Zen tables that released. It was also the first one, so it probably had the least amount of work done to it prior to its release, but it had a flipper lag of 138.8 milliseconds, which was the highest we can see in this graphic. So it was the one that was in dire need of some improvement. And it looks like they've done a very good job. I was thinking maybe they could get this into like 70 milliseconds or 60 milliseconds, hopefully. They didn't quite hit that mark. And then Carlo and Jason both put the link in there, guys. You can click on that to go check out this video that we're referring to. But he did time all this and calculate this down to 94.77 milliseconds. So I think we're there now, though, where it's almost unnoticeable. You may still notice it because it's not perfect, but I think we're very close now. And I've watched some videos of some other content creators this week. There were a couple that really stood out to me. One of them being Papa Brad's Gaming. Go check out Papa Brad's Gaming. He did a really good video on this. And I loved his comment. He's like, as good as OTG. He said that the new Addams Family with this update is as good as playing the Addams Family with a computer hooked up to your 4K pinball, saying it's as good as OTG. So that's, a big statement to make, to say you can actually hook up a high-end PC, plug it in, OTG, or you could play AtGames version directly off their hardware, the hardware that comes with the machine, and you're not going to notice a difference. It's just as good. So that's a big statement, and I think it's been backed up based on the footage I saw in his video. I think that that's the way he truly feels, and he's very happy with the result. Now, Evil Genius Entertainment, he can sometimes be a little bit more critical, I think, because he does have like a 4K custom build machine that he's built. And I think that, he if he was going to say something, he would be the one to say it. And he's actually saying it's greatly improved. Not perfect, but very well much more improved than what it was before. So Evil Genius is very impressed with the results. So I think they've come a very long way. I think we're only going to see this get better too. Keep in mind, this was wave 1. We've still got many waves to go. And I think each week that we see these improvements, it will improve even better. Because if we're looking at 138 on the Addams Family, went down to 94, like Star Trek The Next Generation's at 121, maybe that gets down to like 84 or 74, and then it's like completely unnoticeable. It's like perfect. And I think we're almost there. So really good to see this stuff. Let's bring up some of the chats here about AtGames and the flipper lag improvement and see what the chat is saying. So Mickey Yoon says, considering the Zen tables are not in 4K, I think it should be priced slightly higher than the HD versions. And that's where I'm at. I think they need to get that price a little bit lower. However they're going to do it, I think it's necessary. Thor KC says, I would love to get the Star Trek with the SSF, but it's just not in my budget right now. Hopefully not in the distant future. And again, going back to that money, the amount of money it takes to get into one of these, if they could make a more entry-level one and do better than what they did with the premium starter, I think that will go a long way in getting more customers, more people buying your 4K machines. So then they can buy your pinball packs, which in the long run, you're going to make more money because you've got a huge customer base buying all your pinball packs. So get them in the door is, I think, the strategy they should be using. Now, Video Game Vegas says, yeah, I was a bit disappointed to find out that the Zen tables weren't at 4K resolution, but I'm glad Wagner revealed that, and it's important to get that out there. I believe others are at 4K, and that's good to note that and to discuss that as well, Video Game Vegas. I'm glad you brought up that point, is that even though these are called 4K pinball machines, we're not actually getting 4K gameplay on some of these tables, a lot of them. And you will notice, that they are reducing down some of the graphics to get to these, numbers that we're seeing in this result here. Wagner is testing with all the goodies on. It will be faster with ball trails and pop-up scores turned off. Okay, so there's also some other things we could be doing to help improve these numbers as well, which Wagner does discuss in that video. Glairzilla is here, and he's saying, what's up, Biggie D? Pretty cool to see you play MvC on Moat's channel Friday night. So we're going to get into that later in the stream. Appreciate the comment, and it was a ton of fun. Got into Moat's Plays channel Friday night because I just downloaded MvC Fighting Collection. Just got my new fight stick, and we played for hours. Had a really good time, and we're going to get into that here later in the stream. Got a lot to talk about on that, Glairzilla. Good to see you in the chat. Steps Gaming is here. She's saying AtGames is too expensive, but nice. And Carlo is saying, I expect the tables to be refined. This is their first iteration of the rebuilds. And Mike of All Trades is here as well. Good to see you, Mike of All Trades. He's saying, I did a test on the tables today. I'll have something up tomorrow. So we'll have to check out Moat's channel. He owns one of the 4K pinballs. Looks like he's doing some of his own testing. We'll have to see what his thoughts are on that. So let's look at some of the other announcements we got this week. Was this Universal Classics pinball pack. You're going to get Back to the Future, E.T., and Jaws for $15. That was the big one this month, where we got a lot of releases of pinball packs previous months. But this month, they're kind of more focused on the lag fix. We look at that calendar, we're just getting one this month. So let's take a look at this. So this is the full calendar for 4K. Now there's a couple of things I'm going to talk about on this calendar. One of them is going to be the September the 18th. It says new AtGames Legends 4K pinball announcement. That's this upcoming Wednesday. And then on the 19th, it says the AtGames Natural History Pinball Pack 2 announcement. But then we look at the following week on the 26th, and it says AtGames Natural History Pinball Pack release. So I think we're getting the announcement on the 19th. We're getting the actual release on the 26th. So let's take a look here at Natural History Pack 2. This was back when it was originally announced. It's been delayed now for quite a bit. Some are thinking that the price may go up on these. We're seeing a price tag of $25 right now for 4 tables. And some believe that they're going to raise that price. So we'll see. Now, what's left after September, going into October? We're going to get the Wave 4, which is going to be your Gearbox Pinball Fix, Garfield Pinball, My Little Pony. Wave 5 is going to be Godzilla vs. Kong, Jurassic World Pinball. Keep in mind they're doing these waves based on the date that these tables released. So they're going from earliest release, Wave 1, to Wave 5, which is going to be your Godzilla vs. Kong and Jurassic World on October the 10th. And then we're packed full of new pinball pack releases in October. We're getting Williams Pinball Monsters pack. That's going to include the Monster Bash as well as Creature from the Black Lagoon. You're getting 2 tables with that one. Also, The Thing will be the first Pinball M table we've seen yet. That will be on October 16th. Chucky Killer Pinball will be on October 23rd, right before Halloween. And then right after Halloween, at the end of the month, to close out the month, they're going to do the Universal Classics, TV Classics Pinball Pack. So a lot more releases, getting 4 in the month of October, only 1 this month. So what's left? Looking at this graphic, this was a graphic where I had started this whole discussion right after the news release. And let me bring up that news release where this all started. So this is it right here. And this graphic we're looking at was gathered from this article. We don't have any other new announcements beyond what we're seeing in this article. They haven't announced that yet. So let's take a look at what is left. And we've got coming soon, which is those 4 for October, the Monsters, Universal Monsters Pack, the Chucky, the Thing, and the Universal TV Classics, all coming soon. The ones that are left, now these were on, and it's interesting to see the ones that are left because these kind of all fit, or at least 2 of the 3 fit something we haven't seen yet, which is the Sorcerer's Lair and the Wild West Rampage. These are in-house Zen tables that they've created. We haven't seen any of those yet on the AtGames platform. So this will be a first when one of these 2 come out. And why they're saving those 2 for last, I'm not quite sure. Also, the Fishtails we haven't seen yet. That was also in the News Blast news article as well. And I know many people are huge fans of Fishtails and that table. And it played really bad on the Arcade1up. We had it on our Attack from Mars Arcade1up, and it plays really bad on there. So I know we're wanting to get a home arcade or a home pinball version of Fishtails, and that will be upcoming soon, hopefully. Still don't have any announcement outside the article on those 3. Sorcerer's Lair, Wild West Rampage, and Fishtails. So looking forward to those. But all these others that are checked have been released, but we're in the article. And then all the coming soon, those are coming next month in October. So now this image here was something I'd made around the time of that news article we had just looked at. And these were the 3 tables I'd really wanted to see. And we are getting Creature from the Black Lagoon finally. But just thinking of themes and skins, because, you know, looking at that calendar that we were just looking at earlier, coming up next week, it's saying that we're getting a 4K pinball announcement. And we heard Michael B kind of confirm on one of his videos and in some of his live streams that we were going to, in fact, get a new 4K pinball skin this upcoming week. And he's kind of backtracked on that. I'd watched Super Game Room Dudes on Friday, and it was interesting to hear him say this, but he had said that it was a little premature when he had said that they're actually using that date to release their AtGames 4K ALU that we're actually not going to get a new pinball skin. And I found that interesting because when we look at the calendar for the 18th, it says new AtGames Legends 4K pinball machine announcement. It does not say a 4K ALU, or it even says pinball. So unless they're going to change this calendar, AtGames being, the company changed this calendar, I think we still are going to get a pinball skin on the 18th on Wednesday. And why, Michael B saying we're not all of a sudden is kind of confusing. I don't know, were they telling him not to say that because they want to surprise people? I'm not sure. Or are they really going to use that date now for the ALU 4K and they're not going to bring us any new skins on the AtGames? I think that is a high possibility now based on this new information. So we'll see. But talking about skins, I would love to see Indiana Jones. I would love to see Star Wars. And I would love to see Creature from the Black Lagoon. Now, of these three, I think the most likely is going to be the Creature from the Black Lagoon because we actually have that pinball pack announced and it's going to be releasing very soon. So I think that is probably the one, if any of these three. But you guys can name in the chat, which ones do you want to see? Which skins do you want to get? And, AtGames will be listening. I know we've seen Tampa Tech in the chat before. Wagner may watch. I know I've spoken to him many times. He may be watching, and they can relay that information to AtGames to hopefully help push the skins that we want to see. But just on the rest of this calendar, a lot of it's going to be like these tournaments that they're doing, which are exclusive to the people that have already purchased. So I don't really cover that information. And then we talked about the Wave 2, the Wave 3 coming here at the end of this month. Also, the 26th, National Owners Day, autumn 2024, with sales and events start on the 26th. So here in a couple weeks, we're also going to get another NOD event. Hopefully some discounted tables, discounted pinball packs coming soon here on the 26th. All right, guys. So anything else that you guys want to discuss on AtGames, go ahead and put it in the chat now. And I'll also bring up some of the previous chats here, or just a few of them. Video Game Vegas says, I'd rather see a delay on the Natural History Pack 2 than have it released broken. If this is the case, I think AtGames is making the right move. And I think they are going to make it right. Should be ready to go. It's been delayed now for a couple months, if I remember right. So they've had plenty of time to get it right. And I think it is now at this point. Now, could they delay it some more? That is a possibility. We'll see. Thor KC says it's kind of strange how, on the one hand, they're eliminating excessive lag is critical for a good VPN. On the other hand, real pinball has lag issues too. So we should be able to tolerate slight amounts of lag. Dark Realm Gaming says, hey, Biggie D, just passing by to leave you a thumbs up. Yes, definitely, guys. Hit the like button. Even if you're just, passing through, watching for a couple of minutes. Hit that like button if you hear this, or see his chat. Have fun on your stream. Hope you all had an awesome weekend. Definitely hope you guys are having a great weekend or have already had a awesome weekend. Carlo is saying Monster Bash theme pinball machine is the one he wants to see. Jason's saying Indy and Star Wars are coming, though the next Star Wars table won't be the one in your photo. So that brings up a good point, Jason, is the one that we're going to get going to be the original Star Wars? I think many would want to see that original Star Wars, but it could be many things. It could be the remakes from the early 2000s. It could be the Disney versions. Hopefully not. Or if it is Disney Star Wars, hopefully it's got some of the original Star Wars movies mixed in there as well, kind of like the Arcade1up did. Or it could be like a Mandalorian. I know there's a ton of Mandalorian fans out there. There's a Mandalorian movie upcoming in the future. That's going to be the next Star Wars movie. Could it be that theme? That's a good point there, Jason. I'm glad you brought that up. Now, talking about this possibility that the 18th could be the AtGames Legends 4K, just kind of going back over that information we had from long ago, because it, looking at this was the news release on it back towards the end of 2023. It says, get ready to dive into Killer Instinct universe like never before. Stay tuned for more details and pre-order information coming Q1 of 2024. Well, we're getting towards the tail end of 2024 now, and we still don't have a pre-order. It's going to be direct to consumer is what it's sounding like. There will not be any pre-order. Will this be the actual announcement come this next week? And according to Michael B., it is. We're not getting a new pinball skin. We're getting the official AtGames Legends 4K announcement with, I guess, new information or what we would actually be getting. But just looking over this previous announcement from late last year, says it's going to have a 27-inch 4K display. It's going to have an integrated second LCD for dynamic marquee. That's going to be the marquee above the screen will change based on the games that you're playing, and you'll see whatever that is. Now, to note on these bit LCD marquees is that we've seen lately some of them are going out. We saw Michael B's go out, and I've seen others in the community that have had that same issue. So do they have an improved version of the bit LCD that they're going to be putting in these? Because you definitely want these to be reliable. You don't want them going out a year or two after you buy one of these. So do they have some new information on that? Are they going to fix it or improve it? Rock chip 3588 was at that time, that was the chip we would be getting with 64 gigabytes of storage. It'll have that new CE 4K platform, which we haven't seen it on a widescreen like this, only on the pinball. What's that going to look like? How's that going to navigate? VIBS board for the access to displays. Convenient connectivity at the cabinet's back. So instead of having all your inputs right there on top of the game deck like the current ALU has, it'll be on the back. I do like that. Authentic coin door for a full arcade experience. I'm really looking forward to how they're going to answer or handle this, because the initial feedback on this coin door was pretty bad. Nobody seemed to like it, and it was the exact size of that coin door from the 4K pinball. Have they made a new design, a bigger one that people are going to be more happy with? We'll have to wait and see on that. So just know, guys, that kind of setting everyone up for, Tuesday, Wednesday, we may be getting an AtGames 4K ALU announcement and details rather than a new skin. Now, another thing that's coming up on the AtGames Legends Ultimate front is we are going to be getting this new HD version for Sam's as well. So, like, if you guys have been watching P-Dubs, he's been going to Costco lately. PD7, Phil, who was in the chat, he goes to these stores every day pretty much to do his walk and talks. So we'll definitely be seeing our creators, our content creators in home arcade space going up to Sam's to see what this new AtGames Legends Ultimate HD looks like. And this is actually coming very quick. It's coming next month. So this really what it's going to offer is a new games list, which we still don't know what that will be yet. And it will offer the new UI, which is the new CE HD. Just like the CE 4K UI, which we'll see on the 4K version, they're going to have an HD version of that menu system and UI system. Now, will the Killer Instinct, will the Battletoads be included on this HD? I think that's a very good possibility. When it says there's a new games list, if they have the license for these games and they will play well on the HD hardware, why wouldn't they include those games on this one? I think if they can, they will. So that's just kind of a little bit of speculation, is maybe we'll get Killer Instinct, maybe we'll get Battletoads on the Sam's Edition HD ALU. Carlo is wrong, trust me. That's what I think. I think on Friday on Super Game Room Dudes, he is trying to divert attention away from what he originally said, because he just flat out said, guaranteed we're getting a new skin next week. Maybe AtGames didn't like that. Maybe they want to build more anticipation, more surprise for people. And they're saying, don't say that. And he just kind of backtracked on what he said, and it's just kind of throwing us off. I don't think it's very likely that this is the announcement next week, but it very well could be. It could be both. It could be a new pinball skin. It could be an ALU 4K announcement, and getting both next week. We'll have to wait and see what was correct. 18th is the new pinball skin revealed. No disrespect to Michael B. I know that for a fact. Okay. So that's good to know, Carlo. I'm glad you're putting that in the chat so we can be prepared. Also, Carlo is saying the new ALU with the Arcade 3399 is going to be sweet. And Jason is saying it's going to be the 3599 at Sam's. So we'll see what we actually get. Ojib is in the chat. He's saying with the KI control deck, have the rollerball or spinner on it. It will. And I did not make a slide for this. Maybe I should have, because that's a very good question. And I think I can go ahead and just bring it up because I had this image ready to go. So let's see here. Throw this on here for you, Ojib. But here's what was from the original marketing material that was sent out to the influencers at that time. And we can see the game deck there is going to be, let me get my video back up so you guys can see me. Oh, getting all messed up now. Where's my camera? Oh, here it is. Get my camera up here so you guys can see me. All right. So theme LCD marquee, 27-inch LCD display, light up coin door, Killer Instinct theme screen bezel. But then to answer your question, yes, you are going to get the trackball. You are going to get the spinners. But what's new with this Killer Instinct game deck when comparing it to the ALU we currently have is we're going to get an 8-button layout. So if you're wanting to play more modern arcade games on here or just modern video games, you'll have the 8-button layout for that. So I think that's big as well as having that 8 buttons. Like right now I have a new fight stick and it's got that 8-button layout. And I like that because I can play, you know, even the more modern fighting games that use those additional buttons. But yeah, so that is for AtGames. That's going to pretty much wrap up what I had to discuss tonight on it. Unless you guys have any other chats, we'll move on. But Jason says 4K will be the 3588, wasn't it? Carlo is saying, yeah, I'm talking about the Sam's edition. I'm more excited about that. The HD comes in at a lower price. Also, you know, many people and on that comment, Carl, are questioning, is 4K necessary? Is it necessary on an arcade machine? Because a lot of what we're going to be playing are retro arcade games on it, where the HD screen is perfectly fine. Do we even need 4K in that? And are we willing to pay the extra money for the 4K? Mike of All Trades says he remembers this stuff. So yeah, it's been quite some time since we've discussed or even seen a lot of these graphics we're looking at right now. These were towards the end of last year. I can't believe that it's been almost a year since this announcement. It may have been actually over a year since the announcement, but it seems like it's coming soon from what we're hearing. Thor KC says, I thought the 4KP stood for pinball. Yeah, I thought so too. 4K pinball. I don't know what the P stands for now, because the ALU is called the 4KP as well. So that's a good question. Maybe we'll get an answer on that very soon. Let's get in, guys, to some Arcade1up discussion, because we got the new leaks. I guess we call them leaks because they've since pulled these listings for these. But we got two new things to talk about with Arcade1up. And the first one is going to be this Pacman Plus Deluxe. Now, something new we're seeing with this, a couple of things. One being that they've got a new retailer called BAM Books A Million. I've actually never heard of them. I don't even know if we have one of these around me. I'm looking right now just to see if we got one even within the state of Arizona. And it doesn't look like we do. Like I just Googled it and not one location came up for me with my zip code. Let's see about Arizona, the state. Yeah, it doesn't look like they have any anyone or any locations around me. But here, I'll pull this up for you guys so you can see this. And so just searching around me, no results. Let's see about my hometown in Texas, or home state of Texas, if they have any. Looks like they do have some in Texas, and Abilene, Katy, Grapevine, Katy Mills. Yeah, it looks like they got quite a few locations in the Texas. But it may be hit or miss depending on where you live, if you're going to be able to even buy from one of these, locations. It doesn't look like you can look by that. But I think these are more so like Northeast. Like, let's search Ohio. It looks like they got a bunch of locations in Ohio. Let's look at New York. Doesn't look like they have any results for New York, which is surprising. Let's look at California. Yeah, and no results for California either. So it's going to be very hit or miss, guys. You're going to be able to find one of these locations. But evidently, this is who Arcade1up is partnered with for their new products. We have not seen these leaked at any other retailer other than this BAM Books A Million. But this is a Pacman Plus Deluxe. And this is going to utilize a very similar cabinet design as the Casinocade and as the new Slim Edition NBA Jam. Now, one thing that they have removed is that little step that comes out from the bottom portion of the cabinet. Many people dislike that step. I'm included in there. I thought it looked terrible, and also just didn't think it would balance well, being so small and just not having much depth to it. Having that step coming out, not only did it look bad, I just thought it would wobble a lot. So it looks like they've at least listened to us on that. They're going to keep the same dimensions as the NBA Jam Slim Edition Deluxe, but we're not going to get that step on the front, that hideous looking step. It'll just be flush all the way down on that kick plate. But this is that cabaret look, so it's going to be that wood design cabaret look to it. Not a big fan of that, but maybe many of you out there are. And also, it's going to have the same Pacman Plus artwork that we saw on the previous version of this with the riser. You guys have watched James Hates Everything. He put out a video last week where he owns this Pacman Plus with the riser, and it's essentially the same exact cabinet with just the deluxe form factor. But keep in mind, guys, it is the smaller deluxe form factor, which I can show you guys here in just a moment. Now here's a picture of this Pacman Plus Deluxe, and this guy looks pretty tall. He's having to, in this very awkward looking like position where he's kind of crouched down in order to play it. Looks extremely uncomfortable. This thing is small, guys. It is not a big cabinet. It's going to be one of their smallest designs. So a little bit unhappy with that. Also, I'm unhappy with another Pac-Man. I mean, how many Pac-Mans? I know it's a big money maker for Arcade1up, but how many of these are they actually going to release? Is this going to be the future of Arcade1up, where we just get new Pac-Mans throughout the entire year? It's looking like that. But also, this is, I think, is the bigger of the two leaks, is going to be the claw machine. And surprisingly, I'm actually a little bit interested in this. I'm interested to see the controls of it, the function of it, how I guess good are these parts within the machine? Like, is the part's going to fall apart after a period of time? Is it going to just be low quality? Or is this something that actually is worthwhile, worth the money? Like, because I mean, a claw machine that has the function and the parts involved in, you know, making a claw machine work, if they're able to achieve all that and it's actually good quality and it actually will hold up for many, many years to come, and you can throw whatever you want into it, you know, you can put plush dolls, something like that in it. Like tonight, I'd actually brought this guy. So I've only won once in one of these claw machines, and it was this Captain America. I actually picked it up and won this thing. And normally when I play, I always lose, but I'll never forget the day that I actually won and got this guy. But, you know, if you can't put these in it, you know, and you have to put these little like plastic balls that they're showing in this image, and you just have to fit whatever your prize in that little plastic ball, that's not going to be very fun. And that's kind of my speculation on this, is I think that we're going to get a low quality, you know, poorly put together claw machine. That's my prediction, my speculation on this, because it's a price tag of $499. I mean, what could they actually do with $500 and still make a profit? Well, the only thing they could do is just make a really poorly designed, poor quality claw machine that is likely only going to be able to pick up these little plastic balls, and you probably can't put much weight, if anything, in those balls, because it probably won't have enough power to pick it up. It may realistically actually only pick up little blow up plastic balls with nothing inside of them. And how fun is that? I mean, that's just seems very boring to me. Even having the look of a claw machine in your arcade, I just don't think it can overcome the fact that it's only going to pick up little plastic balls. I don't think that's fun. I think it's very boring. I think it's a waste of money if that's what ends up happening. But maybe they surprise everybody. Maybe they actually bring out some high quality product that's got, you know, good parts. It's well put together. The thing lasts for 10, 20 years, never breaks. And we can put whatever we want in it. You know, we can put our plush dolls in it, and we can, you know, get Sonic, Mario, Pacman dolls like this, Marvel ones, and put whatever we want in it. And I think that's where the real experience starts to happen, is you actually get to fill it with what you want in it. And it's a visual, you know, it's something you can look at, you can see in your game room. I mean, a claw machine does fit an arcade. There's no question about it, that these will fit in any arcade. People want these. It's just a question of how well put together are they going to be, and what kind of experience are you going to get out of it. And I'm not going to get my hopes up, and I don't want you guys to get your hopes up either, that this is going to be of any good quality. But we'll see. Let's see what some of the chats are on the Pacman Plus at Bam Books a Million and the claw machine leak we got this week. Mike Hawkhurts is in the chat. Good to see you, Mike. He says, I like the BAM logo. I've never been to one of their stores, but I feel like I've been hearing about them since I was a kid. So they may be in your area. You may have heard of these. I've never heard of one. Being from Texas, I was surprised to see they have them in Texas, because I'd never heard of them. Maybe they're new there. There's none here in Arizona, and we saw there's none in California. So there's a lot of retailers that Arcade1up's gonna, you know, miss. They're gonna miss a lot of customers because the retailer they're working with isn't nationwide, it seems. Mickey Yoon says, we don't know if it'll be the only retailers carrying these claw machines. That's a good point as well. There may be many other retailers carrying these. Walmart, Best Buy, you know, the big ones that we've seen Arcade1up work with in the past. But that's still an unknown. We do not know that yet. The Rexer shows that Pacman Plus flyer is just as bad as the Media 1-Up one. Talking about this Pacman Plus Deluxe. He also says, people said that Media 1-Up flyer was bad and fake, and that one looks just like it. And we'll see what happens with that leak. I think it could still be real. I just don't think it's Media 1-Up that is making that. I think Media 1-Up is consulting for whatever company that is making that. And Thor KC says, part of me does like the idea of having a claw machine because I've never played them, and I just stare at them in resentment for killing arcades in exchange for real redemption games, or for redemption games that border on child gambling. And that is how these modern arcades are now. You go to Dave & Buster's, you go to the bowling alleys, Main Event. They're packed full with the claw machines and the ticket games. And those are the big money makers for these arcades. And that's why you see a lot of this, is because they make so much money for them. And I like your comment. It is bordering on child gambling because you're spending so much money sometimes for maybe one prize, or you may never win a prize. I was lucky to win this one, and I was ecstatic when I finally did win something, because it seems like you never win in those games. Scaredy Cat says, I have the original PM Plus, Pacman Plus. Looks better than the one that's skinny. And Mickey Yoon says, if it's not licensed, why is it $500? Yeah, they're saving a ton of money. Talking about this claw machine, guys, they're saving a ton of money with not having any licensing on it. I'm hoping that translates to better parts, better quality. We'll see. We know that Arcade1up, they're greedy. They're going to try to make as much money as possible on this. They're going to want the biggest margins they can get. So I wouldn't expect much. Steps Gaming is saying, are you buying the claw machine, Biggie? Imagine if you got the first claw machine review. Hopefully we get some news on this prior to it releasing, because if they can convince me that this thing will last and I can put whatever I want in it, and it will pick it up and be playable, at $4.99 I may consider it. I actually would maybe consider it, because I think this could be a missing part in a lot of our home arcades, is the claw machine, because that's like when you walk into the arcade, you're always going to see these, and it may be a missing piece for many of us. So depending on the quality of it and how well it works, I may get one. The Rexer Show says the claw won't even work right. And that, I think, is, if we're a betting person, we would put our money on it not working the way we would expect or want. Thor KC says a claw machine needs either a coin bill acceptor or some sort of credit system. Everyone will lose interest in a unlimited free play to win your own stuff. And I think I would too. Like if I had it in my home arcade, I probably wouldn't play it a ton, be more of the visual of it. Also giving, your visitors, your friends, family, people that come over, something to check out and give them a different experience other than the arcades. So I got this image off of Reddit, but going back to the Pacman Plus, just kind of emphasizing the size and how small these are in comparison to what we've seen in 2023 and prior years, is they are definitely going smaller. Where we wanted them to go bigger with the XL, we did get the Midway Classics Golden Tee, mashup arcade at Costco. That is an XL. But outside of that, everything they're releasing is much smaller now. We can see it in these dimensions. Pacman Plus, in comparison to the NBA Jam, you're looking at 18.4 inches in depth. Now, keep in mind that 18.4, I think, is including that little step on the NBA Jam. We lose the step, thank God, on the Pacman Plus. Looks way better. I think the 18.4 is the exact depth of the NBA Jam to that outer step. The width is also, I guess, about the same there as the Pacman Deluxe we saw in 2023. The height is about the same. But where I'm talking it's smaller is your depth is much less on this. And that is reminiscent and very similar to the Casino-cade, where this extremely small cabinet design, little depth to it, started with the Casino-cade. And it's just kind of carried on with the NBA Jam, now carrying on to this Pacman Plus. What's going to be the next one? Are we going to get a Street Fighter in this smaller design? Or think of some of the other big sellers for Arcade1up. Are we going to get those cabinets in the smaller design as well? Left to be determined, but I think that's where it's heading. The bigger design, I just think that's something they're getting away from. maybe for logistical reasons. Maybe the retailers are asking for smaller boxes or smaller designs. Or another side of the coin is that Arcade1up is trying to make more money. They're trying to see bigger margins, and one way they can do that is to make these smaller, use less material. Logistically, it costs less to ship. Retailers can store more in their warehouses, things like that. I think is also very highly likely part of the reason why we're seeing smaller designs like this. Now, something else to note, guys, is this is Alliance Entertainment now. This is the partnership that they've gone with Alliance. So even though it is an Arcade1up, it's being sold by Alliance Entertainment. So that is something new to take note of going forward. And is Alliance Entertainment going to be able to get their products into Best Buy, into Walmart, into these larger retailers? That's also left to be determined. So a lot of questions this weekend after seeing these leaks last week or this week. You know, we got a lot of questions answered, but we also got a lot more unanswered questions out of this. Now, this I thought was a interesting subject, and kind of started thinking of this afternoon, because we had saw Super Game Room dudes use these same images that I used on my thumbnail tonight, as well as 19K Fox did it as well. So a lot of the large channels in the home arcade space are talking about these two new leaks. They're also, what I found interesting in these thumbnails is comparing it to the Pacman Plus, because we do have the Pacman Plus dimensions. We do not have the dimensions of the claw machine. We would want the claw machine to be taller. We would want it to be bigger. We want it to have more space within it for the prizes that we put in it. So my thinking is it needs to be taller. It needs to be much bigger than the arcade cabinet. It seems like Super Game Room dudes, based on what I'm seeing here, just kind of trying to think about, you know, what they think the size will be based on this image. Is they think it'll be about the same exact size as the Pacman Plus. And then 19K Fox's image tonight, he's thinking, and maybe not, but based on this image, maybe he's thinking that the claw machine is much smaller than the Pacman Plus. And boy, would that be just a bad deal altogether, or all around, you know, to get a tiny little claw machine that's smaller than the arcades. I don't think that's going to be a big seller either. But if we go back to the, I posted a short on this, James Hates Everything did. There were many videos about the claw machine leak back when they were in their Miami offices. When we originally saw this thing, we saw it in the background. You guys remember right, and I didn't bring the video up for us tonight, but if you remember right, if it is that exact size in that video or in that live stream, it'll be big. It'll be much bigger than the arcade was. So I think my image on my thumbnail of these three we're looking at as comparison, I think mine's most likely the correct size comparison than these other two. But just interesting to talk about, interesting to think about is, are the Super Game Room dudes right? Is it the same size as the Pacman Plus? Is 19K Fox right in that it's smaller than the Pacman Plus? Or am I right in thinking that it's bigger than the Pacman Plus? Only time will tell, because even though that prototype we saw in the live stream at Arcade1up headquarters, that is a prototype. So any of that can be changed after the fact, prior to its release. So we really don't know. And they may still be in the development prototype phase of it, because we've only seen renders to this point. That maybe that can still all be changed or adjusted based on our feedback and what we would want to see. But on the other side of things too, you know, with Arcade1up, and I heard 19K Fox mention this tonight, is Arcade1up, do they even care about what our community or the home arcade community thinks anymore? And I think that's a good point, is I just don't think that they do. I think they've kind of at this point, you know, forgotten about us as a, you know, a focus. You know, I don't think that they drive their products or make their products based on our feedback as a home arcade community. Based on their new, what we would call their influencer program, they're going after huge channels. They're going after channels that have 500,000 or million subscribers that don't even follow or cover Arcade1up. They cover, you name it, movies, console video games, you name it. They're going after those creators, and they're trying to get them interested in Arcade1up and what they're making. They also want to get them to push their products on their live streams, on their videos, introducing this stuff to new people that have never heard of them before. So I don't think that they're making products for us anymore. And I don't think that the claw machine or the Pacman Plus will see major changes based on the things we say or the feedback we give. Just to kind of set the, the expectations for us, that I don't think we're going to be getting what we want anymore. I think this is all driven towards mass consumerism, also large, massive retailers and what they want. I think we have very little say now in what Arcade1up is going to make or do. Mickey Yoon says the NBA Jam Slim Katie is really bad, man. Saw Cornercade put it together last night. It's just not it, man. Still have not watched any of Cornercade stream from last night. Maybe I'll catch some of it this week, and that can give me some greater opinion or insight on what I want to discuss, in the future on this cabinet. But it is good to see someone in the community buy one so we can save our money, because my initial impressions wasn't going to be very good. And from what Mickey's saying here in the chat, I think that was confirmed during the stream yesterday on Cornercade. Thor KC says, I haven't seen one yet to really comment, but I don't hate the Slim Katie idea. If you need more weight, you know how to mod it, don't you? I just don't know how you mod this little step here on the bottom. It just, terrible idea. It looks horrible. Not a big fan of that. It looks like they're already moving away from it after just one cabinet design. Well, I guess you could say two, because it started with the Casinocade NBA Jam now. So two have had that. Scaredy Cat says, you should be able to figure out how big it is with the most recent NBA Jam Deluxe video. Okay, so we'll have to check that out. And Ojib says all of the above. And Mickey Yoon says they've exhausted this market, us, the home arcade community. All right, so I want to get into the MvC Fighting Collection. We saw Glarezilla in the chat earlier. We also saw Mike of All Trades in the chat. I joined them on Friday night. Probably be doing this on a more regular basis going forward, is joining them for their competition live streams where everybody gets together and we just compete online playing these fighting games. And this Marvel Fighting Collection is perfect for that. It's got a really good online system. It's got a really good lobby system for us to do the matchmaking and get into games quickly. It's just amazing what they've done with this collection. I'm more impressed now after playing it than what I was before it came out. And that's hard to say and to actually be a reality, because I was super hyped for this game from the very beginning. And I love it even more after playing it. Sometimes your expectations get really high and then you play the game and it just doesn't meet that. This does. This actually far exceeds expectations, and I'm extremely happy with it. You guys will see this fight stick here sitting on my stool. I did get this as well. I think that's necessary if you're going to compete online and you're going to play this game in this community, because these guys are really good at these games. And you're going to need any advantage you can get. And I think having a proper layout of an arcade stick is necessary. However, some of you guys may get good with the controller. You may like the controller, but this is just based on my experience. And Mickey Yun saying he's so excited for Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Series and the Punisher Online. Very happy to hear the Punisher. There was a lot of speculation and a lot of discussion after this released. People thought it did not have online for the Punisher, because when you go through the menu system for online, you don't see the Punisher on there. But when you go to create a lobby, you can create a lobby with the Punisher. So I learned shortly after, I was disappointed that I was actually happy to find out that the Punisher is playable online. So we're looking at all these games here that come with the collection. You're getting X-Men Children of the Atom, Marvel Superheroes, X-Men versus Street Fighter, Marvel Superheroes versus Street Fighter, Marvel versus Capcom, Marvel versus Capcom 2, and then the big key, the big winner in this collection, I think, was the Punisher Beat 'em Up. Because they didn't have to put that in there. This is a fighting collection. It's not a beat 'em up collection. But they put the Punisher in there because it is a Marvel theme. And I think I've learned, and I think maybe you guys out there can confirm if you're big fans of this stuff, that the Punisher was the first Marvel license that Capcom had. So they kind of believe and want to give credit to the Punisher because that kind of started this whole collection that we're seeing today in this collection. All started with the Punisher Beat 'em Up. Even wearing my Wolverine shirt tonight in just to honor this collection because it's such a great collection of games. Really hits that nostalgic itch. Also, these are terrific online fighting games. You know, you play the more modern fighting games, they're just so different than what these were. You don't really get this anymore. So to be able to play these on a game that just came out with, you know, advances, modern advances to the game, it is such a joy to play. So there's a few different ways that you can get in on this, guys. Now, all the physical copies aren't going to be coming out, I think, until, let me check on that because I want to tell you guys right. And I don't know the exact date on when it comes out. But just to know that you guys can get any of these digitally right now. But for physical copy, will not be available till November 22nd. So you still have over 2 months until the physical copy comes out. So most of us have all bought the digital copy. But you can get it on PS4, which will play on your PlayStation 5. You can get it on Nintendo Switch, play it portably or play it docked, or you can get it on Steam. Here's your pricing. $49.99 for the PS4 version, digital, $49.99 for the digital Switch version, and then I put $44.69 for Steam. And you guys are probably asking the question, why did you put $44.69? Because I'm seeing $49.99 on the Steam store. Well, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a discount, or a way that you can get a discount. And this is the route I chose, is I purchased the Steam version for a couple of reasons. One, I got it a little bit of money off. And then second, I think it's going to have a larger audience or a larger group of people online playing at any given time on Steam. Now, I can't say that for a fact. It's just what I thought was the case, and I've been right, I think. I've been playing on Steam, and I'm not having any issues matchmaking or finding people to play with. Now, one channel that I do follow quite a bit has stated on one of his videos and also in a community post that he's having trouble getting into matchmaking. He's having problems finding games. And I don't know for a fact if that, what version he has. So let's just take a look here at his channel. So you guys, if you want to go check this out, but it's Toxin. And he's got a video here, Marvel vs. Capcom Collection issues on PC. So he's saying he's running into issues with matchmaking on the Steam version. I'm not experiencing that. So I don't know if this is related to maybe his internet or his location in the US or what the case is, but I'm not running into any issues at all matchmaking on Steam. So, but just be forewarned, I wanted to let you guys know about this because there are others in our community, Toxin included, that are having problems with the online trying to find games, trying to find people to play against. I have not experienced that yet. So, which version do you get? I don't know. I'm just going to tell you guys go with Steam because I think that's going to be who's going to have the most people online at any given time. Also, I would say go with Steam because you can save a little bit of money. And how are you going to save money? Let's take a look at that. So this is a website that I can vouch for. I've bought many different codes off this website. I've bought many different codes from them, even for giveaways on this website. And I've never once had someone come back and say that code didn't work. So you are taking somewhat of a risk with this website, cdkeys.com, because they very well could send you a code that doesn't work. But I've not come across that yet. And from experience from others out there in the community that have also bought codes off this website, they've not run into any issues yet either. So to get the Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection Arcade Classics for PC North America, you can use PayPal too. PayPal will also give you a little bit of added protection in case something doesn't work. You can do a dispute with them and they'll handle it all for you. But you can get it for $44.69, 15% off. Still currently in stock. So if you're interested in getting it, I would go ahead and get it soon before, it is out of stock, because I've seen that with the popular games where, it will sell out, especially at these lower prices. Also, keep in mind you're not paying tax as well. So you're actually saving about $8 or $9 total buying it this way. So just a little bit of a look here at these three as we've got PS4, Switch, Steam, and then you can kind of decide from there, which one do you think is going to have the most players online? And then also, which one do you want to save the most amount of money on? Now, sometimes people will buy a Switch version or a PlayStation version, or in the future buy the Xbox version because their PC can't run games because their PC doesn't have a video card, or their video card isn't powerful enough to run some of the PC games that come out on console. On this particular title, you're not going to run into that issue. We're playing retro arcade games from the 90s and late 90s, early 2000s. So any PC really should run any of these games that come in this collection. No issues. Even without a video card, your PC should run it. I played it on a very low-end i3 with a very cheap graphics card. Runs it perfectly. I even ran it on my i3 laptop that I only paid $250 for, no video card, and it ran great on there even. Had a little bit of an issue with it lagging after playing for a couple hours on the laptop, but no issues at all on the desktop. And keep in mind, these are i3s with no graphical power at all. So your computer should run it. I don't think you'll run into any limitations playing it, the Steam version, on pretty much any laptop or modern desktop. And let's take a look. This is their most recent trailer that just dropped last week, right on the day that it released. I don't know if the trailer will show anything new, but we can run through it while I'm bringing up the chats just to use as a background to look at. Mike Hawkhurts, I'm sorry. Mike of All Trades says, it's the first crossover game between Capcom and Marvel. Good point. Mickey Yoon says, dude, we're going to have so much fun playing the Punisher. Moat, Mike of All Trades, also says, glad that you got your hands dirty on Friday night. Hope you had fun. I had a really good time, even though I was getting my butt kicked all night. I did win one match using easy mode. Got a little bit of criticism for using the easy mode, but evidently nobody really can tell you not to do that. Everyone can use easy mode if they want, but was able to win a match actually doing that. And then the second match, I was competitive. But since then, I've actually been working with my fight stick, found out my buttons weren't mapped correctly, and I didn't even have the input set correctly. We'll go through that here in just a second. But now I've been playing online like last night and early today, and I've been winning matches. Winning a lot more than I've been losing. So I think I got my buttons down right and mapped correctly. Mike Hawkhurt says, I sure hope the Switch version is on cartridge. Rumor has it some territories already slated to receive it as a code in the box. And I'm glad you brought that up, Mike Hawkhurt, as I've been hearing in Europe that they're going to come with a code in the box, in the Switch box. And I've had that issue before. I bought Mortal Kombat 11 for the Switch, and it came with a code in the box. I was so disappointed because I like collecting the Switch carts. I think they're really cool little carts to collect. And that may be something we will run into with the US version. We don't know yet. But wouldn't it be a bummer that we don't get a actual physical cartridge on the US release? Because I will buy a Switch physical version of this game, but I will not buy it if it's just a code. No reason to. So hopefully they make it right and give us what we really want. He said he paid for the physical. Deciding after the fact to change it to code in the box would make me not happy. Yeah, very upset. People would be canceling their orders. They would be returning them. No doubt about it. So hopefully they do it right. Give us a physical card here in the US. But keep in mind, you're in other countries that you may not get that. Mickey Yoon says, I haven't heard a single rumor of matchmaking issues. That's good. Mike Hawkert says the Mad Pixel did a video about it. Only Europe confirmed their version is code in the box. No other regions have mentioned one way or another. Scaredy Cat says, back to the claw machine. When it was shown in the background of the live stream, it was next to a stool. I used a screenshot of that, measured a stool I have here. It's about 60 inches tall, 22 to 24 inches wide. Okay, that's really good information, Scaredy Cat, and I'm glad you put that in the chat for anyone who's watching or rewatching, about the claw machine and worried about or concerned about the size of it in comparison to the Pacman Plus. It's looking like maybe the Super Game Room dudes were the most accurate in their thumbnail this week. Maybe I was a little too hopeful in thinking that it was bigger. But we'll see, because all that can change in the prototype phase. You know, they can make it bigger, smaller, any of that. Israel Gaming says, Mickey, I have it on the Switch and it works flawlessly. The online is amazing. Very good to hear. Mike of All Trades says, Fanatical also has it for $40. So just like CD keys, guys, you can get deals on all kinds of websites. But just be forewarned and be cautious that some of these websites will screw you over. They'll take your money and they'll send you a code that's already been used. I've had that happen with G2A. I've had that happen with a couple others. And even though it's worked out and PayPal has made it right for me later on, it is a huge hassle going through all that. Mickey saying, would you rather have a physical copy? If rumors are true that the EU is getting digital codes, then physical copies will be even more valuable. That's a really good point. Rexer Show is saying the Rexer Show is saying 60 inches tall. That's 5 feet. Claw machine is only 5 feet tall. That's going to put it in line with the size of the Pacman Deluxe and the new Pacman Plus. So yeah, it's still going to be small, but maybe we could put a riser on it. Or maybe you can get a booster aftermarket for it to bring it up to a proper size. I think the big key is having the width. You know, the height is important. We can fix that with the booster. But I think the width and the depth is even more important because that's going to restrict the amount of size we have for the prizes inside of it. So I can deal with the height issue. It's more so about the depth and the width, I think. And Carl O is saying if the price is way lower than the other sellers, it's a scam usually. Yeah, so be careful. You can definitely get a deal like Mike of All Trades is saying, but you also want to be very cautious, like Carl O is bringing up. And you definitely emphasize that. Just be very cautious when trying to get these deals. Mike of All Trades says, not Carl O. I've bought a lot of games from Fanatical, never a bad code. So you guys definitely, that's good advice, from Carl O to be cautious, but also Mike of All Trades, he's definitely a trustworthy source. He's telling you he's never been burned. You probably got a very good chance of getting your code when you buy it. So let's take a look here at the fight stick I got. So there's many different options of fight sticks out there, guys. If you are looking to get one for this game, I'm new to this stuff. Really, I've never owned one of these before. So I went low cost, entry level. I went with the Arcade Stick F101 Mayflash. I initially started shopping the Mayflash because Steps Gaming had told me she got the F303, I think it's called. And so that's when I started looking at Mayflash. That one's $60. This one is $45. I went with this. I'm pretty happy with this one. I can also change out the buttons and the stick. It's easy to open up. from the bottom and put in, sandwall sticks, sandwall joystick, sandwall buttons, all that can be changed out. So I'm happy with this one. But there's obviously much better ones than this. But this will work with your Switch. It will work with Steam. And there is also an adapter you can buy for it that'll make it work with your PS5 as well. Now, where to buy one of these, it's up to you guys. Here's another entry-level one for the Switch called the Hori, which is only $46. I went with the Mayflash because I thought it was a little bit better quality, I thought. This is the one I was heavily shopping as well as the 8-Bit Dough. This one's wireless. 8-Bit Dough has a very good name out there. It's also a bigger game deck or fight stick where you'd have more room for your wrist and your hands. So I'm a little bit unhappy that I didn't get this one, but I'm also happy that I saved, $40. And I may get that one again later anyways. And then here's this Xbox one. Now the Xbox one's only $75 at Woot. I was heavily considering this one as well because it works with your PC. I also have an Xbox One. It'll work with that. And we do have the Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection coming out on Xbox, I think early next year. So that would be one to consider as well. And that's a good price at $75. And I like the black on the X-Men one more so than I like the Nintendo look of the Switch one. But then, you can get into some really high-end one too, guys. Like this Power A is $130. Much bigger size, probably much better quality. Here's an Hori Real Arcade Pro V Abusa fight stick for $130, usually $172. I think these are in my future a much better quality one, especially if I really get into this online fighting community. And if I get good, I'm definitely going to be wanting to upgrade my fight stick. So there's a lot of options out there, a lot of shopping to do if you guys are just getting into this stuff. But yeah, this is the one I went with, the F101, the one you're going to see behind me here. Right there. So just a little bit of closing thoughts here with you guys. Israel Gaming says the PXN fight sticks are a good pick. He likes that one. Mike of All Trades says the PXN sticks are decent. And if you can find a GameSir C2 or equivalent, that'll do the job as well. That's good information. So anyone rewatching or watching tonight, if you're shopping these, definitely some good information being put in the chat right now. Check out the PXN, the GameSir, because that was something I knew nothing about going into this. And a lot of these fight sticks you can't just find on a simple Google search. You actually have to do a little digging, or you have to have someone out there in the community like Mike and Israel telling you, hey, these exist, go check them out. All right, so just a little closing thoughts with you guys to wrap up our stream tonight. Astrobot, I'd streamed this last Tuesday night. I'm going to do another long night stream this upcoming Tuesday night. Be doing this every Tuesday night around 9 p.m. West Coast time. So it's very late for you guys on the East Coast, but that's why I call it live all night. If you're up, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, you can catch some live stream gameplay with me. Come hang out. But I did Astrobot last Tuesday. Amazing game, incredible game. Also a ton of fun to stream because there's no load times and it's just constant action, constant fun the entire time. It's not hard to play, so you don't get stuck on stages and areas. I did get stuck on one part in the game, and James Hates Everything was in the chat. He was able to quickly tell me what to do. But other than that, went flawlessly, no issues. Gameplay's great, a lot of fun. Definitely recommend this one. I wanted to stream this one again this upcoming Tuesday, but I'm going to save that for the Fighting Collection. I'm going to be doing MvC this upcoming Tuesday. So if you guys want to catch some MvC Fighting Collection Arcade Classics live stream gameplay, that'll be coming up this upcoming Tuesday night, starting at 9 p.m. West Coast time. Really late for you guys on the East Coast, but try to check it out. Or if you can't, try to at least catch the replay. Give me a like if you can. Really helps in promoting this. Also, it's a lot of fun, to play these games and we spend so much time talking about them, discussing them, chatting about them, but it's also fun just to get hands on and actually play the games. So I hope you guys join us. And Punisher, baby. Mickey's talking about the Punisher. I'll try to get a lobby set up during the live stream where we can all jump in and we'll do some Punisher. That'd be a good way to spend, 2 or 3 hours on live, is to play the Punisher together. Carlo saying no one's streaming Star Wars Outlaws. I've seen pretty negative reception to that game. I won't be picking it up personally, but there's a lot of others in the community that are streaming as well. Brooklyn Menace, who's in the chat, he streams all the time. A lot of gameplay. It's like I'll check YouTube and he'll be streaming a lot of the times I check. He says Astrobot is game of the year and the best platformer I have ever played. I'll have to agree with him on that, guys. It is that good. And Brooklyn Menace says he played it for 5 hours last night. I'm saving it. I haven't jumped back into it because it's such a great game to live stream. I just want to keep playing it only on live stream. So I'm saving it for that. Ritual Dello saying late to the party. Hey, all, good to see you, Ritual Dello. Just talking a little bit of closing thoughts and wrapping up the stream with Astrobot, talking about it. Also talking about MvC Fighting Collection. I'll be playing that this upcoming Tuesday night on live. And Jantry G says, in response, the claw machine's playfield is too small to be fun. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that's an important aspect of the claw machine is how much can you actually fit into it? Because not only is that good for the playability of it, but also the visual of it. You want to fit a bunch of stuff in there. Like personally, I want to get a bunch of plush dolls in there. I want to have like my Marvel characters. I want to have Nintendo, like Mario in there, Pacman, even like a Mandalorian, some Grogu's in there if I can. We'll see if that all works out and they actually make something worthy of our money, worthy of our prizes. Last thing I'm going to wrap up with tonight, guys, is Pinball Expo. We're getting very close now, starting on the 15th. So we're exactly 30 days tonight from the start of this event. I'll be showing up on the 17th. That's a Thursday night. And I'll be staying till the 20th, which is a Sunday night. I arrive late on Thursday night, the 17th, planning on going to get dinner, drinks, probably go to a barcade that night. Get up early, go to the Pinball Expo when it opens. What's crazy about the Pinball Expo is it goes till midnight, guys. Midnight, no lie. So I'll be there all day, all morning, all afternoon, all evening, all night. All day Friday, I'll be at Pinball Expo. Try to get it all in on one day. And then on Saturday, I'm going to go to Galloping Ghost all day to the arcade because it'll take all day to check that out. And then on Sunday, I don't fly out till 8:30 p.m. So I'm going to go check out the Galloping Ghost Pinball all Sunday morning and Sunday afternoon. So hopefully you guys will join us. And I know there's a ton of the community that's going to be there. And I just cannot wait to see everyone and hang out and just experience not only the Pinball Expo, but Galloping Ghost and Chicago and the nightlife of Chicago. It's going to be a ton of fun. Brooklyn Menace says, now when I can play, I can't get trophies. And Scaredy Cat says that machine is probably just as deep as the new Slimcade arcades, 19-ish inches. And I'm thinking you're right on the money right there, Scaredy Cat. I think that's realistically going to be the size of this thing. I'm hoping not. But we did get some good news in that the prototype we saw initially from their headquarters in Miami tends to lean like it's going to be a little bit bigger. So we'll see. And Brooklyn Menace says, I'm booking a flight and crashing in Biggie D's hotel. Let me know, Brooklyn. I do have room for one other person in my hotel room. I paid for 2 people. I've only got room for I've got room for 2. It's only me going right now. So if you do need a place to crash, you do need a room, let me know. I can work with you on that. But I also have a friend of mine from Phoenix here who's from Chicago. He grew up in Chicago, just moved to Phoenix a few years ago. He wants to go now. He's going to let me know if he has the money to go. And if he does, he's going to let me know here in a couple weeks. He may have already taken that extra bed in my room. But we'll see. If he that falls through and you make it, you'll have a place to crash. Just get your flight. But I also will have a rental car as well, guys. Got a Toyota Tacoma rental car. So if anyone needs rides, need to catch a ride to the bar or the arcade or the pinball expo, I'll be able to help out with that stuff. But looking forward to this event. Cannot wait to see everyone there, hang out, talk arcades. We spend the whole year on YouTube talking about this stuff in a community, but we'll actually get together and actually play these things. And it's just going to be such an amazing time, just like Cleveland was. We're going to do it all over again this year, but in Chicago. So if you guys haven't booked your flights, you haven't reserved your hotel rooms, or bought your Pinball Expo tickets, we still got time. We still got a full month to plan and get that stuff arranged. So hopefully you guys will make it and we can all hang out together. But I hope you guys have had a great weekend. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream tonight. It's been a lot of fun. I enjoy, all the comments coming through, all the chats. It really makes the show, because if it was just me here talking and it wasn't you guys in the chat bringing a lot of the subjects and discussion up that you have tonight, it wouldn't be the same. So I really appreciate everyone, and I will see everyone in the next show. So make sure to tune in on Tuesday night for the Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection stream, where we're going to be playing the Punisher online, and also look forward to the Zoltar content coming up on my channel. Got a Zoltar review coming up here very soon. I'll see everyone in the next one, guys. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.